farm up. Welcome. This is the podcast by Wake the Farm Up called Maintaining Ground. And I am your host, Andy the Elf. In this podcast experiment, I'll be talking with old friends, new friends, and a whole variety of people who are very inspiring, intriguing, and have their own opinion about the world to share and incredible stories. So I hope you enjoy this. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Today we have the wonderful guest here. Her name is Priscilla Mok.
Hi.
See where this conversation goes. It could go anywhere. Swell, yeah! So I know Priscilla from potluck adventure parties where we're eating all kinds of different food, and she always brings amazing dishes that she puts so much love into. So we're going to hear about some of that, and I'm excited to see what else we hear about.
Mm-hmm.
You've invited me this winter to do steamboats with you, and I had never heard of steamboats before, at least not in the regards in which you were talking about. Only have heard about steamboats on the Ohio River and Mark Twain stories.
Mm-hmm.
See?
So, I'm from Singapore. So in Singapore, we do have a lot of people like from all over the countries because we have a lot of races. I mean, people are different races, meaning we have like Chinese, Indians, Malays, Eurasians, or people even from America as well, because we're a very international country. And because of that, we have we have a chance to try out all different types of food cuisines. You know, food like from all over the world. So Singapore is known as a food heaven, like a heaven.
Okay.
Like a place that people will just visit Singapore and they try all different types of food, and they get to try like food from like America, like a McDonald's, to like food from China and possibly like Russian, African food as well. It's like all different types of stuff. So because of that, we're really very fortunate in terms of like a taste buds. We get to try very spicy food, very sour, sweet, salty, and so we get a chance to try different cuisines food, and that's how we get exposed to like food from China, and that's how we know about steamboat. So steamboat is actually something that we'll have during Chinese New Year.
Does it have another name as well?
Hot pot.
Hot pot. Okay.
Yeah. So steamboat / hot pot. We always have it during Chinese New Year, and it's called our reunion dinner. So it's very similar to like Thanksgiving dinner, where everybody gathers together on a very special day. We call it reunion dinner. So we have like a broth like right in front of everyone, a very plain chicken broth or a fish broth or just a hot water.
Whatever the family chooses, they'll have a big container with hot broth in front of them.
Correct.
Okay, I'm picturing this, yeah.
And then you put whatever food, there's uncooked food that you want, into the hot pot. So we can dump like chicken, meat,
you can put
pork.
like shrimp or mushrooms even.
Yeah, correct. Like mushrooms even. Everything is into it, and then once it's cooked, you just fish it out.
Okay.
Fish it out, and it becomes your so-called dinner. And then at the end of that steamboat, everybody will either put like.
So when you say.
will drink the soup. Mm-hmm.
So when you say you fish it out, do you use like fishing poles? Perhaps a cast net.
We use like a ladle. So
Okay.
we ladle, so we take the food out. It's look like you're fishing something out. You get me?
Yeah.
So you use a ladle and fish one out.
So when you take it out, you get some of the broth as well. You're not just trying to get the chunky, yummy, chunky stuff. You're getting that broth into your bowl as well.
Yeah, you get some of the broth, or you can don't get the broth as well. There's some things like
You can go at it with like a harpoon or a skewer.
Yeah. So this steamboat is typically during Chinese New Year, and I think Chinese New Year is somewhere in February or January. So in China, I think it's typically really cold, like very cold. I think it's probably the winter time. So steamboat like keeps you really hot. So I thought about it, I said, oh, good. February, January is a time that it's cold. In US as well, it's winter time. And then it'd be fun to have everybody gather together since one of my friends, Laura, she's from Mexico, and she loves steamboat hot pot a lot.
Nice.
So it was fun, like, all of us gather together, put whatever food that you want into the hot pot and take it out and fish it out and just, eat it. I mean, it's just an excuse like for everybody to gather together, talk about their life, just to
catch up.
A very fun catch up time, talk all kinds of like, jokes or anything fun, just to see one another. So it's kind of heartwarming.
That sounds
heartwarming
fun,
your heart, and also heartwarming your tummy. So and then make the place really, really very heartwarming. So I like that.
Well, I know Chinese New Year this year has come and gone, but I'd still love to do a steamboat with you guys sometime. I think that'd be really fun, and see what we can throw together and go fishing. I might bring my like a little fishing pole or something.
Since one of my friends, Laura, she's from Mexico, and she loves steamboat hot pot a lot.
Nice.
So it was fun, like, all of us gather together, put whatever food that you want into the hot pot and take it out and fish it out and just, eat it. I mean, it's just an excuse like for everybody to gather together, talk about their life, just to
catch up.
A very fun catch up time, talk all kinds of like, jokes or anything fun, just to see one another. So it's kind of heartwarming.
That sounds
heartwarming
fun,
your heart, and also heartwarming your tummy. So and then make the place really, really very heartwarming. So I like that.
Well, I know Chinese New Year this year has come and gone, but I'd still love to do a steamboat with you guys sometime. I think that'd be really fun, and see what we can throw together and go fishing. I might bring my like a little fishing pole or something. maybe I'll make a little harpoon. I think that'd be probably the best.
Yeah, just don't bring worms and dump the worms in the hot pot. I will appreciate if you don't do that.
Yeah, maybe chipmunk. Some chipmunks. We'll have a separate hot pot for the dogs.
Yeah. It would be good to have a vegan hot pot. How about that?
Okay, yeah. Like maybe even like pineapple. Like you put that into it.
No.
No? So more like
It would be so weird.
maybe more just a savory.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit more savory.
So when you were saying that Singapore is a food heaven and you can get food from all over the world, is there something that would be like a signature of Singapore or like a local thing? Like, in Cincinnati, they like to put chili on top of noodles. In Santa Fe, they put chili on top of Fritos. And, out in New England, every town has their famous pizza. And so, like, what would be signature of Singapore?
Yeah. This is a very interesting topic because Singapore has so much influence of food from all over the culture. Mm-hmm. So much that the food that we have in Singapore, is not originated from Singapore. So for example, one example is called chicken rice. It's called Hainanese chicken rice. And of course, this Hainanese chicken rice is brought over from China.
Okay.
Hainan, Hainan. Yeah. So another thing which is like, okay, let me think. For example, Indian curry. It's not from Singapore. It's from India.
Right.
And then if you have like roasted duck Okay, this is so obvious. It's probably from Hong Kong or China. So
Wait, what was that? Roasted what?
Duck, like D-U-C-K, duck.
Watch out! Okay.
Roasted duck, or roasted chicken, roasted duck, roasted meat.
Yep.
Yeah, it's most likely from Hong Kong or China. You get what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I raised some duck here, and they were called Peking Duck, which apparently is like the same as Beijing.
Yeah.
Peking is Beijing, so I guess it's a duck from China. So even the ducks that I raised here were a Asian duck. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. I have raised another duck called a muscovy, and they get really musky smelling, but they had a similar flavor, but they're actually a native duck to North America. So that was interesting.
Oh wait, Andy, I thought you were vegan.
You
so
thought
do you eat the ducks or do you just eat the egg?
You thought that I was vegan?
Yeah, I thought you were vegan.
No, I'm a pedestrian.
Shut the farm up.
Oh, you do eat pedestrian. Yeah. Sorry, get me confused.
Yeah, I
don't
know.
What do they not eat?
I guess the only thing I don't eat is pork.
Mm-hmm.
And,
right.
And that's for my own reasons, not because of any sort of religious dogma that's pressed upon to me.
So do you cook Peking duck? Do you roast Peking duck?
Yeah.
You do?
I haven't in a while. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I
do you want to try it one day?
Yeah. So
you blow them up with do you know that they blow up the duck and they roast it, so they call Peking duck?
What do you mean you blow it up?
You blow it with air, so they get fat.
Oh, okay. I was picturing TNT, dynamite or something. I'm stuck in it and you blow the thing up. And I'm like, what?
No.
It's like you contain. It's like I was picturing you containing it and then just blowing it. It just blasts into pieces. I'm like, wow, that's a new recipe. I want to write that one down.
Probably not with nuclear bomb. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be interesting if you could actually fill it with air and then you just roast it. That's how they make it really big, and that's how they fluffed it up.
I can't say I've ever made my ducks in a way that was really exciting. So I would definitely want to experiment that with you if I process another duck here. Yeah. Yeah, maybe you can help me keep my ducks in a row.
Okay. Sorry, it's a side topic. So there is something called Singapore food, and it's something that they have debated. They debated to figure out what exactly is a Singapore cuisine, and there are a couple of things that really is called Singapore dishes. So for example, one is very famous. It's called chili crab. So you know a crab, right?
Yeah.
They fry it with chili sauce and sugar. And you eat it with a fried bun.
What kind of crab is that? Is that is that something that you can harvest on the shore there?
You might harvest it better in Indonesia. It's called Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Crabs.
So those are pretty big crabs.
Not as big as Alaska crab. So I say the medium size.
Okay.
Not as small as soft shell crab as well. So it's somewhat in between those two.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Mhm.
Well, that's pretty fun.
Other than that, I need to think a little bit harder. What exactly Singapore cuisine is? Maybe another thing could be a bak kut teh. Bak kut teh is it's a soup and a pork soup, and it's a bit peppery. That might be one of them.
So I often wonder. I know hot peppers, the plant, it was originally only growing in North America, and then sometime in the last 400, 500 years or whatever, they've gone all over the world and have become part of cuisine everywhere. And is there other things that would make food spicy aside from hot peppers?
So like for example, fresh black pepper.
Black pepper.
You know,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how we make the bak kut teh. So that's how we make the soup.
Okay.
Peppery. So we use a fresh black pepper, not
like a
red
chili
hot
pepper. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
it's not. So use a black pepper. That will make things spicy.
Yeah.
Or horseradish makes things spicy, like wasabi.
Like wasabi. Okay. Yeah. Very. Yeah. Good point.
Mhm.
I do think it's pretty fascinating though, right? There's a lot of peppers that have been developed, like Thai chili peppers that are
Yeah.
like very significantly different than any ones that you would find naturally being raised in North America at this point. It's like they've been selected and created into these new things that didn't exist 1,000 years ago.
Mhm. It doesn't mean that a red hot pepper could be the most spicy hot pepper. Do you know that Thai chili, the green one and super small in size, could be extremely spicy?
Yeah, the tiniest ones. Yeah.
Yeah, the tiny ones, and it's green in color. They're freaking spicy. They would actually churn your stomach.
Mother farmer.
It was
So-
pretty bad.
So I've got a pretty high heat index inside of me for a farang. I can eat the what is
Ghost pepper?
the Carolina Reaper. I bit into one of those this summer and I was totally fine.
You gotta be kidding me. I'm sure you just eat a small slice, right? Like a tiny little bit slice, right?
I took a bite off that that little spike that comes off the bottom of it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, are you in a waterfall?
This is just cheating. Do you know that spicy part is the seed? I think the seed is the most spicy part. And the
Yeah,
pepper.
definitely.
Yeah, I should try the seed instead.
Yeah. Jalapenos are really rude because they're jalapeno face. So stupid.
So Andy, I have a question. Since you asked me what is our Singapore food, then I'm curious, what is American food?
Well, I think it's similar. Like different cities have like their different signatures. Like I was kind of pointing out, Cincinnati, they like to put chili on top of spaghetti noodles with a pile of cheese, right? So there's a lot of different areas that kind of have developed their own signature things. Another thing in Cincinnati, a lot of people know what geta is, which comes like from a Germanic heritage that's very rich in the Cincinnati area, and a lot of people in other places don't know what geta is. So like even for me not eating pork, I have a mother who makes non-pork geta, which is not very traditional recipe, but she makes it just to make it fun for us all to eat geta together.
Or what's a typical, like, not just city, like a whole American, like a food?
I went to Australia when I was probably 19, and while I was there, I remember seeing an all-American restaurant, which I thought was fascinating. I was like, so I went into it, and they had pancakes and burgers. Yeah, that's what the pancakes were exquisite, not like any I've ever seen. They were like stacks that had all the works on it, ice cream and berries, and it was just exquisite, like pure cakes. They're literally cakes. So, yeah, I think, America is definitely, I was always raised, in this melting pot of America where there's just so many different things, like, all the different foods of the world, like you're talking about in Singapore. It's like here in America, like you have, especially in urban areas, you have so many different choices and there's so much diversity here. So it's really fun in that regard. One day you can go have Ethiopian food, the next day you can go get South Indian food, the next day you can pick up some fancy modern day hipster Mexican food. But that's really fun stuff. I love food. So that brings me, into another topic. You've come to a lot of these potlucks in our local Indiana area here where there's a lot of foragers and foodie people that are out finding wild foods and making food that you won't find anywhere else in the whole Midwest region, really, at least not in these kind of quantities and these tables of food that are just exquisite, that have squirrel meatloaf and it has, Jerusalem artichoke steamed with wild rice that our friends collect out of canoes in the northern areas. So what do you think of all that? What are some of your favorite wild food things to work with in the kitchen or to eat or that you've tried?
So the most, I'll say, adventurous thing that I dared to do, which is harvesting mushrooms.
Cool.
Because we were taught, when we were young in Singapore, no, do not ever harvest or do not ever take any mushrooms from your garden because you have no idea whether they are poisonous or they are edible.
Right.
So that was the first thing that came to my mind. It's like when Michael Hu told me that, do you know that you can take like oyster mushrooms? I love oyster mushrooms. Do you know you can take oyster mushrooms from the wild? I was like, gotta be kidding me, really?
Yeah.
And then do you know that the chicken of the woods can be really fascinating? It tastes like chicken. I was like,
so good.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I once wrote a blog article about the difference between harvesting chicken of the woods and processing chicken, and just like it's just the chickens, are a little more predictable. They're there. The chicken of the woods, it's kind of like a surprise, and you get to find a bunch of it and it's ready to eat. So you don't always know when it's going to come. Yeah.
So, but during the process, I think I got poisoned. I just get very bad food poisoning. But that wasn't really bad, like a couple of days. Maybe I just vomited.
From a mushroom?
Like the following day. I don't know. It's either the mushrooms or, yeah, it might be the mushrooms or the, or like some of the leeks that I collected. I thought it was a leek, but it wasn't.
Oh, wow.
I just want to try and see whether it's edible or not. It's a kind of curiosity. So that was really fun. It's like being very adventurous and give it a try. Knowing, I do not know exactly how bad will the consequences be, but try it and to see it. And at least, for my knowledge, chicken of the woods was a very surprising thing. Because it really tasted like chicken.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you had to collect the fresh ones and you know how to process them properly.
Farm, yeah, you do.
So that they could be tender and edible.
Right,
That
yeah.
was the very fun part, yeah. Chicken of the woods, oyster was pretty predictable. I love oysters, so they still taste like oysters when you collect it in the wild. The other thing that was very interesting, which is collecting blueberries. So there was once I was in Red River Gorge and I was in July period. I was like, stunned, there's so many blueberries around me. It's like, cool, I should go and collect them.
Yeah.
But in the process of collecting them, I kind of surprised a lot of like people who walk around the area. Apparently, a lot of Americans they're not daring, to like try things like how we do, like forage, like blueberries or like mushrooms. To them, it's like, this is so crazy. This is so, it can be harmful for your body. Why do you take it? Like, I don't know it's edible or not. They don't dare to. They're not very adventurous.
Well, that and with the internet and the resource to information that we have these days, it's really easy to look things up and be pretty sure that what you're eating is what it is. Plus, like, the more you connect with people who are eating wild foods that are showing you things, the more you can be comfortable eating things because like, hey, maybe they posted it on their Instagram account or something and you see it out in the forest and you're like, yeah, I'm going to eat that. That looks exactly like what my friend was eating.
Yeah, I think Americans are not used, some of my friends are just not used to trying something that's out their boundaries. But think about it.
It's true.
They have been eating McDonald's chicken nuggets, and that contains a lot of different parts of the chicken that they have no idea they've been eating.
Yeah, they're more comfortable eating something that's processed through a big, giant factory. And, that reminds me, the last time I was in McDonald's, I was using the restroom on a road trip. And there was a lady cleaning a fish tank. This McDonald's in particular had a fish tank. It was really beautiful, There's a bunch of fish swimming around it. And I asked her, I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. Is that where you guys get your fish for the McFish sandwich or whatever? and she made a sour face at me, just like, ooh, no, we get it off of a truck and it's frozen. And I matched her sour face back to her. I was like, ooh, that's weird. Just to create a point for somebody in a random moment along the way, I do think it's a little more weird to get a fish frozen off the back of a semi-truck compared to a fish fresh out of a tank.
Yeah, I mean, some people are very surprised that the chicken nugget actually contains part of the chicken that they never thought is edible. So yeah, I think the mindset of what they're open to, like for example, they're not used to seeing a chicken head, they're used to seeing a chicken, a fish head or like a fish bone. So some people don't even dare to eat bones or fish that have bones. Or they're not used to seeing how is food being processed or gathered, and that's why some of them are not adventurous in terms of eating as well. They will just stick to what they know, and if they know what's a McDonald's, they are comfortable because that's how they grew up, eating McDonald's. But come think about it, they are processed food and they use part of the meat that they thought they're so not comfortable eating, and it's actually part of the processed food of McDonald's food they've been eating all along. They have been eating parts of the chicken that if you tell them, they will not be comfortable. So yeah, it's very interesting.
There was a guy last fall who was maybe 65-year-old man walking through the forest, and he saw me eating autumn olive berries off of a bush that was loaded, and they're so good, they're so tasty and sour. And he looks at me and he says, "Are you eating wild berries?" And I just said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "Be careful. I don't know about doing that." And I was like, "Well, I know about doing it, so I'm doing it. It's fine." It was mind-blowing to me to think that a 65-year-old man would look at a bush and just call it a bush, and look at berries and just call them berries, and not have any even sort of connotation that it's an individual species, and that the person that's sitting there eating them is obviously enjoying them and probably knows something about it. There's an opportunity for a person, even 65, to still learn about a wild edible berry that he's walking past.
Yeah. I mean, even when I tell my dad about me, foraging and things, of course it's very uncomfortable because to us in Singapore it's completely a no thing because we have no idea what's edible out there. Yeah. We live in a tropical land. We know bananas, how they look like. We know mango trees and banana trees, but we talk about mushrooms, berries. It's so foreign to us. Yeah. So it's something that, we didn't know we can get it from out in the wild. Are you sure it's edible? It's something they're not used to. You get what I mean? But yeah, Americans are so fortunate. You guys have so much, nature around you with the natural forests and state parks is amazingly good. I mean, to us in Singapore, almost everything is man-made. Because we do have so much natural resources. Yeah. Yeah,
I personally think America is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So I know there's the people that complain about America all the time. And I think there's a difference between people that complain about it and hate it, and the difference between people that complain about it and then go and do something about it to make it better. And there's a lot of opportunity to do that. So for me, I like the parks. I definitely enjoy that, and protecting them and nurturing them and being part of them. I like the concept of nature preserves being a place that can help preserve the nature of people as well.
Your garden pretty soon, your ducks and your greenhouse, your bananas.
Yeah, I've eaten most of the bananas. It's funny, not very many of the humans that hang out with me regularly here like bananas. And it's just wild. I'm I got this big rack of bananas, so I actually have a bunch of them that I put in the freezer because they're, we're starting to turn brown. But I can only eat 2 or 3 bananas a day. It's enough for me. So it's been fun to have homegrown bananas. I don't know how many people have grown a rack of bananas in this part of the world ever before. Imagine a few maybe, but
It's typically a tropical kind of plant. You need a greenhouse or
yep.
something warm. Maybe Florida, you might be able to.
Yeah, I think you can. There's varieties. The other fruit I'm enjoying right now are loquat. Are you familiar with loquats?
Loquat. Is there a word for loquat?
It's orangish.
I'm very familiar.
It's like an orangish fruit. The only other place I've ever eaten them was down in Florida, but my niece, I guess, had eaten some about 10 years ago and started seeds and gave them to me maybe 10 years ago, and I've been growing these trees and finally got some fruit because I've planted them into the greenhouse, and they're able to really root in and grow and turn into trees and have full sunlight all year.
What's the color of the fruit? What's the color? How does it taste?
It's like they look almost like the orange color of like an apricot, and I would say they taste kind of like somewhere between an apricot and a strawberry guava.
I might know it.
It's like really tart.
I might know it.
But a nice thing with the loquat tree, the leaves are also a superfood. So when the tree grows up into the roof of the greenhouse and I have to trim them off, I can harvest that and dry it and turn it into a green powder that I can mix in with my other like nettles and things like that.
Nice.
Or I give it to my goats sometimes too, just as like a winter extra little vitamin for them. I wanted to ask you, like, do you remember in Singapore, I remember there was a time where people were not allowed to have chewing gum there?
Yeah.
And that's, I remember chewing gum here in the 80s and 90s just being everywhere. Like, the sidewalks would just have these little black dots on them. If you put your hand on a railing in public somewhere, sometimes you'd get a big goo ball of chewing gum on your fingers. I imagine that's why they didn't want it there.
Correct.
Do you remember the first time you had chewing gum?
Oh, that wasn't in Singapore. That's when I was in overseas. That's when we were in Malaysia.
Okay.
Or China. That was the first time we had chewing gum or bubble gum. It's like, oh, we got so excited. We got chewing gum, bubble gum here. Let's buy it. Let's try it.
So what did you think?
And you're don't swallow it. And okay, don't swallow it.
Yeah, I was always one as a kid. They were like, "Don't swallow it; it'll get stuck in your stomach." And if that's true, as a kid, I swallowed it a bunch of times because you'd be chewing on it, and you'd be in the classroom, and then the teacher'd come up because they'd know that you're chewing it, and like you didn't have time to stick it on the bottom of the desk. Then you just swallow it, and then you're picturing it like stuck in your stomach.
Yeah.
It's like the watermelon seed kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like everybody tells you if you swallow a watermelon seed, it's going to grow into a tree and come out your ear.
So how did America, you guys manage to remove that bubble gum from the streets?
I don't think it was really so much removed. Maybe it was removed sometimes. I think it just got full of dirt and then it became unsticky and it just turned into these black dots that were everywhere. Like you would go to an amusement park and it would just be everywhere. I remember like you'd go be in the line going to the roller coaster and it would just be gum stuck to everything. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened to it. Like, where did that go? Did people quit chewing on chewing gum as much as they used to in the 80s? Mm-hmm. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't see it anywhere around, like that bad around me. So I thought either people like stop eating chewing gum too much or they stop chewing, like spitting on the ground.
Yeah, maybe maybe people are just drinking more coffee now instead. It's like espresso cups or something everywhere instead now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like you can date things from the trash that you see on the side of the road. So like, I remember in the late 80s and early 90s, there would be cassette tapes that were broken and the ribbony tape just spread out all over the place. And then as the 90s progressed, you started seeing CDs, like discs, just laying everywhere, just kind of shiny in grass. And nowadays, you just see masks, just like on the side.
True.
You just see them like in the randomest places, just kind of this gross looking mask just laying there.
Yeah.
It saved somebody from the pandemic for one day, and now it's just this nasty lost thing. Like seeing a used condom. Ew. That's interesting stuff. So yeah, thinking of these timelines too. What do you remember before the internet life? What are some kind of feelings or memories you have of your experience of that?
Not really much actually, because I think during my time when we grew up, right, we at least like have a chance to like, you know, cycle or play football with my friends. That was before internet, I think.
Football, like soccer. Yeah.
Yeah, soccer. We don't play the American football. We play soccer.
Yeah, that's how I am. I'm more of a soccer player.
Yeah, and that was before internet, I think. But when I was young, we had computers, so we played Sims. So I played The Sims.
Oh, like SimCity?
Like, yeah, SimCity. Those very, very simple computer games. That was before internet, and not too long when I was in when in high school or college, we had internet back then. We had Google. So I did not grow up in a period that we did not have like no internet.
Okay.
So I have nothing much to say. I think I had internet when I was in middle school. I think school.
How was that? How was that? Was it? So are you you're pretty used to that kind of thing?
Yeah, I guess back then it was pretty popular in terms of like, you know, you need your what you call it, pen pal.
Yeah.
So we have internet. We have like email so that we can have pen pal and write it to our like friends or to like people in France or like overseas, like a pen pal. We call it pen pal. So you write letters to people that you do not know, but they're all in overseas. So you write emails.
Yeah.
And then in the past it used to be letters, so now it becomes emails. Or you get like chat with random people, like strangers. That was kind of scary because you have no idea who you're talking to.
You know, I need to be fly.
Thanks, Cleopatra. Yeah, you always hear the story about like the old man pretending like they were a little girl or something.
Yeah.
On the chats. And the one thing that I'm sure happened that you don't hear about is little girls acting like they're old men on chat rooms. I mean, why not?
Yeah. Like,
they were just like chat rooms. They were just chat rooms too. There was like no intention. It was just like, hi, lol, where are you? Ha ha ha.
Yeah. Oh lol, lol. I had to ask my friend, what's LOL? Oh, laugh out loud. Okay.
I'm like, what? And for years I thought LMAO. I thought that meant left my axe outside, because that's what a friend told me. I was like, what does LMAO mean? It meant left my axe outside. I'm like, okay. I'm like, why does everybody say left my axe outside? Is that some kind of an expression of like, that's funny, so I left my axe outside?
I think nowadays they have a lot like short forms that you have no idea what it means. The youngsters will just create something weird that you have no idea what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just grows into stuff. So now years later, as all this stuff is growing, what do you think of the metaverse and like the world that's being built virtually?
No, I'm just a little bit concerned about like kids always play like computer games or like handphones. They don't really get the chance to like just go outside or like experience the nature. Like typically it's always your phone. So once your phone is missing, you just felt like you lost your whole entire life.
Right.
Is that bad? Yeah, for me it's pretty bad because I can't even remember the people who are important to me. What are their phone numbers? Or what are the important numbers, the emergency numbers? Who would you call? or something internet, they will save all your password, your password for your like login to your bank account, to all these things. So you have no idea, like if Google save it, it's good, but if you don't write it down, what if one day Google, is gone and then all your saved password is gone? How are you gonna log into your bank account?
Right.
Simple things like this.
Yeah.
Like what if one day internet, somebody will have like somebody will hack your account, and that's it, a lot of your data information will be gone. So I mean, it's good and bad, because at least it helps me to like connect to you. For example, right now we're doing a video call through internet,
which is brilliant.
Yeah, I can just like WhatsApp my dad, which is in Singapore right now. So there are definitely a lot of cons, and there's definitely a lot of pros and some cons as well.
Shut the farm up.
I think humans being as us, we do need human contact. We cannot be alone for. I would say it's not very healthy. I mean, to be alone.
Yeah, you could probably like get drugs delivered with DoorDash or something now. I don't know.
Yeah. True. I don't know.
Yeah. So how is your kind of like playing with some of these same thoughts too? Like, how is your experience having moved to a small town, relatively small town in Indiana, after having lived in Singapore?
So in Singapore, it's basically like living in Chicago area. Everywhere you go is human beings. It's pretty very populated area.
Yeah.
I've been living. I mean, my first job was in Japan, so that's when I started living by myself. And basically, I do not speak Japanese, so I was there for the first 3 years of my life, not knowing Japanese, trying to learn Japanese. Basically, like a baby, trying to learn how to work like a Japanese, like a adult. It was very difficult, but that's when I realized a lot. It matured me a lot, because it wasn't very easy. I think because of not being in contact with people, plus I wasn't in the right situation. My life was very tricky for me. I think I almost fell into depression once. But I learned a lot of things for myself. It's like, okay, I was very independent since I was out of college. I wanted to be independent because I want to learn the hardship of life, see how hard can it be, and see how can I survive it. So asking me to come to Indiana in Batesville is so much better than me living in Japan. And I love it. I love living in the US because I grew to appreciate and love the nature around me. The nature, like the state park, the national parks. And I love like running and biking. I just like to be associated with the nature. So much so that, I cannot get it in Singapore. And it's very safe to be in a state park or national park in the US. And it's something that's very precious to me, that I love it. And I would typically go for like, backpacking like once or twice a year. So to me, I don't think it's something very shocking. I mean, to some of my friends, they definitely think it's a, like, why do you want to stay in Batesville? It's like a middle of nowhere. There's nothing much you can do. There's no shopping. There's no cinema. I mean, there is a cinema, but there's no like huge shopping mall like Chicago area.
Well, it's like Batesville is kind of nice too, though. It's fairly easy to get onto I-74 and pop down to Cincinnati or pop up to Indianapolis. So you have two mega metropolitan areas that are fairly close. Yeah.
But I feel so much safer in Batesville.
Yeah.
I guess it's a town that, I mean, you had a compulsory Chinese lessons in middle school. It's like you don't get it in Cincinnati or Indianapolis. It's like you get it in Batesville. Middle school.
Yeah.
Your population of Indians is a lot.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Asians, Chinese, Indians. Like, it makes me feel very safe to be here. It makes me feel a little bit better to be here compared to like, Indianapolis or Cincinnati. We don't get gunshots, we don't get riots around this area here. And the people I work with, they're all very open to like foreigners.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love hearing that.
Yeah, so I don't feel very safe to be here, and I don't feel bored in a sense because I think a lot of my time is always focused at work.
Yeah.
If not, will be John, which is my boyfriend. If not, just go out running and biking with a group of people that I know, and I have a lot of time to train for my Ironman last year, which I'm really very happy about that.
Awesome.
Last year.
Iron
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, the friends that.
If you win that, do you get one of those suits?
No, I don't get an Ironman suit. I get a trophy for that.
Oh, they should give us like an Iron Man suit to whoever wins.
Yeah, I wish I had that Iron Woman.
You fly through the sky. I don't know if you're allowed to tell me much about your work. I know there's a lot of proprietary stuff there, but what kind of stuff do you do at your work that you enjoy?
So at R&D, I love R&D job. I started there since my first job. So I was R&D in Japan.
Wait, so R&B like rhythm and blues? R&D.
No, R&D, research and development.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was starting to picture some like Motown or something, like.
No.
So you get to research stuff.
Yeah, so it's like you're researching and developing like new products. So you're not trying to like revamp like old products. You're improving the old products to make it like a new one. So that's basically what I'm trying to do now.
Like researching different materials and processes and things like that.
Something like that, or like design something better. I don't look into materials, but I design some new like so-called mechanical stuff.
Cool.
Or try and improve that mechanical stuff.
Yeah.
And just make it work. Something like a better, like make an old product even better. Or
you do sound like you need an Iron Woman suit.
Like sure, give it to me. I don't think I can fit into it.
You probably could develop one. Sounds like.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, that sounds like the kind of job that you can wake up in the morning to and be excited about, huh?
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about it. But there are a lot of changes ongoing, so I'm not sure if I could stay into my company for long.
Gotcha.
So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Do you think that would bring you to move from Batesville?
Maybe not. I mean, I looked into other areas, so I'm gonna develop into. I have a lot of interest in data, so DATA. So I want to look into like getting a master's in data. So, but I'll still be here.
Cool.
I may not continue my current job, but I'll just study masters in data analytics, which is an area that is very interesting. Because you look into it, so now you have a lot of internet and online, stuff like, if the internet says, you have a lot of data that's running all around the world, and a lot of things that you could actually improve on. So that's my next focus.
Incredible.
What the farm are they talking about?
I wanted to talk about lemongrass with you. I know you work with lemongrass a lot.
Yeah.
I might cut this and add it to the earlier conversation, but what do you like about lemongrass?
So when I grew up again, I always eat food that is very easily attainable. Like basically we can just buy food from outside, and those food that I love a lot end up using a lot of lemongrass. Yeah. So I didn't know so much the importance of lemongrass until when I started living here, and I started like wanting to eat those or like cook those food. Or to like let my friends try about those food, I came to know the importance of the lemongrass.
Nice, yeah.
So like for example, a very popular satay dish. So it's a chicken that's cooked in lemongrass with ginger, garlic, a little bit of sugar and salt. Basically that's all with lemongrass, tons of lemongrass. It makes the chicken taste so good.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends love it. I was like, I didn't know the importance of it, because lemongrass gives out a very, very good fragrance. that makes the chicken taste so good.
So where do you
Yeah.
where do you find lemongrass here? Do you go to have you gone to jungle gyms?
Yeah,
You
I went to
get-
jungle gyms a lot of time.
Okay.
Yeah, I always go to the reduced the reduced area where they sell things at much cheaper price.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's where I got the lemongrass at really good price. Typically, I think these are the stuff that some of the people don't use it often. So for example, pandan leaf, pandan, Pandan, pandan leaf and lemongrass. These are the two very important Asian, I would say like leaf or like a plant. They will use it to like make our food very fragrant.
Okay.
Another thing is called curry leaves as well. Curry leaves. So curry leaves, pandan leaf, lemongrass. These are the sort of plants that we use to actually make our food, more fragrant.
So
It tastes better.
the one I'm least familiar with there is the pandan leaf.
Correct.
Is that from a
This is very
tree or is it like a shrub perhaps?
It's like
or-
a shrub. It's
Okay.
like a shrub. So this pandan leaves has a very natural color that's green in color. And we create a pandan cake. So this is a very Singapore dish, pandan cake. It's also a very signature. It's a signature Singapore food. It's very close to our national cake. We call it a national cake. It's called
Okay.
pandan cake.
Cool.
Pandan. So the leaf itself gives out a very good fragrance. And another thing is if you try to pound it, it'll give a green color. It's a green in color, kind of like a coloring, very natural coloring.
When you pound it like in a mortar and pestle kind of thing or
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, it'll give out like a green color.
neat. So and that color can go into like you would mix that with the cake flour
Correct. Cake
that-
flour, so you make
and
a
that would turn
chiffon
it
cake.
that would turn it all green, huh?
Correct. So you
Cool.
can make it for St. Patrick's Day today.
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
So it's a green chiffon cake. It's a national cake. It's very. As you can get it in Singapore. And then so you give a very good fragrance, and you will scare the cockroaches away. Cockroaches like I'm not sure if it's a myth or it's true that the cockroaches hate pandan leaf. So sometimes you put pandan leaf in the car as well, just to scare the cockroaches away, or you can put it in a
Cool.
plate just to scare the cockroaches away.
Wow. Now, like, what are the cockroaches look like?
Cockroaches? Cockroaches like roaches. Roaches?
Cockroaches.
Like,
Okay. I was
Cockroaches, yeah.
like picturing like these like leprechaun kind of creatures or something.
yeah, they can be very freaky. I hate Or you can put
That's so funny.
pandan leaves. You can boil pandan leaves in the rice as well. It makes the rice very fragrant. So you put a pandan leaf in the rice. And
As you
boil
cook it, okay.
Yeah.
So that's
it.
it.
Very cool.
That's another one that I've done with turkey tail mushroom. I'll put
Oh.
some of those in the rice while I cook it because the medicinal properties come out when you heat the mushroom into water. So I thought it would make sense to just do that straight into the rice and make a medicinal rice. And it actually adds a nice flavor to it as well.
Cool. I didn't know that.
So that's something that I'm glad you brought that up. That's something I've been having fun cooking, like adding one or two other things in with the rice while I cook it instead of just blank rice.
Yeah. You can try to cook pandan leaf in your greenhouse. That'd be pretty cool.
I think I'd like to try growing that. I do have some lemongrass growing in there, and I do have
Nice.
a small curry tree.
Nice. That's awesome.
So now I just need a pandan shrub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know. If you have lemongrass, I can cook this satay for you. It's really awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Next time when you make it, let me know.
Yeah,
And then we can make something interesting with it.
I'd be really excited to make some food with you and John sometime. I think it would be a blast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thanks.
It'd be very fun if you could grow some chili padi. Chili padi is Asian kind of chili. It's like a Thai chili. We call it chili padi. And it'd be so fun if you can grow pandan leaves and not just grow these two things. It'd be so fun. Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
And chili padi as well. If you let me know, you can go chili padi. We love chili padi.
How do you spell chili, the pari part?
Padi is Padi. chili, so CHILLI.
Chili padi.
PADI. Yeah,
Cool. I'm gonna
chili
look that
padi.
up. Yeah.
Awesome! That'd be so
Well,
fun.
Well, thank you so much for the conversation. I've learned so much, and I'm sure the listeners will as well. And I think there's a lot of fun laughter in there too. Thanks so much for being with us, Priscilla.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, there's another thing that you could grow. Can you grow ginger plant?
Swell, yeah.
I don't think they put a donkey in a plane.
What the farm?
Yeah, that'd be fun, right? Oh, that's cute. It's so cute, you have a donkey. Oh,
Yeah.
next time we should go to your house one day. Don't be trying to be Amish. I know you're not.
No, I'm not Amish. I like to say I'm more like an omelet.
Shut the farm up.
Keep listening to this podcast. Explore the other episodes. Have fun. Stay tuned. There'll be more coming from the mother farming elf.
Basically, that's all with lemongrass, tons of lemongrass. It makes the chicken taste so good.